Welcome, everybody, to another installation of the Mac meeting, the Mac reality check, the Mac roll call. We've called ourselves so many things, but the fact is, the Mac is back. We're celebrating Friday. It's October 17th for those who believe in the Greco Roman calendar. We believe that if we make marketing better, we can make better marketing. So let's go forward. Jay Mandel's with me, driving the slides. Moni and Jess in the house, the core four. How's everybody doing?
Glad it's Friday.
Yeah,
Yes.
happy.
Made it. We
Yeah.
made it.
We made it. Okay. We could check in, but I think there's a lot of stuff we need to get to. We can do it at the end. We'll give everybody's astrological signs, some of our health stats, and our morning regimen, like what kind of vitamins we're doing. I'm doing the whole alphabet. If you want to know, and I'll tell you later about how I take them. But first, we're going to take the rough medicine that we received in our last meeting with Dale. God bless Dale Harrison, who came and dropped the science on us, his mythological take on brand growth and how Ehrenberg Bass research and all of this stuff. And it got a lot of reaction. And so what we wanted to do was have a deep situation where we just get to talk among ourselves about the science that was dropped. So I'm going to kind of go through it piece by piece, and we'll pause, and anybody can just raise their hands, and we can have conversations, because it's tough information that I'm still trying to distill. It's high fiber marketing science. So, but the flaw is that there's this well-known book by Byron Sharp, Ehrenberg Bass, debutante, scholar debutante, how brands grow. And when you read it, it's amazing because you get it. But then Dale kind of puts you onto this scene where it isn't quite describing that. Let's go forward. Brands don't actually grow. Over time, they just kind of sit there. And Jess is got this Ozymandias half thing to remind us of the legacies of the marketer forefathers that are no longer here. The market stays pretty static. We hear about all these ups and downs, but the average math ends to be that the brands don't actually grow. Go forward. So it ends up being that, I like this one, time doesn't heal all wounds, but it faces all.
That's a bumper sticker.
And I think it's like one of those you'd have to lean in and say, oh, now I get it. But I think it's very interesting where these things and these pushes and these dynamics come over time. It ends up being quite the plateau, which was not growth to us. That doesn't quite mean it. Forward, it's a bit more like we're salmons in streams. That is what we are. Dolly Parton, you could be Kenny Rogers. It doesn't matter. We're all in the same stream. The islands, we are the stream.
We are the world.
And we are the world. Show the children. But no one's thriving. Most are just surviving. So the story that you get, markets change, and you could be on top, and you could win. But it's, this is a little bit, the structure on this got messed up, but I'll be able to piece it together. There's flawed thinking around brand growth because we're not really talking about what brand growth means. What do you mean by growth? And Dale hit us up with 4 different types. There was market share growth, revenue, profit growth, and asset growth. So marketing usually only affects revenue growth, not market share or asset growth directly. So this is that thing where you're talking about brands growing. How? They made more money. They made more revenue. They made, some extra stuff happened here. This was a mind-blowing thing to hear and to differentiate, because what do you mean by growth? So keep going. Then there was this idea that if you just get more penetration, you get more awareness, and to get that market share, reclaim it. So what you need is awareness. But what Dale told us was awareness is not growth. It's a tool. It's an input. And this was the thing that stuck with me, the leaky bucket. You pour your ad in there, but there's a big hole in the back. So people are forgetting faster than they're being fed the memory. And so there's a limit to these things. The how far you're pouring in reaches an equilibrium, how much the bucket can take. So there's plateaus here. And then going through it again, he's describing, the average, this Ehrenberg Bass research that he took, and sort of describes this. Right in the middle is zero market growth, market share growth. So most brands are just sitting there. Marketing activity does not affect most brand market shares in the medium or even long term. This comes from Ehrenberg Bass, the people who wrote How Brands Grow.
I'm not a statistician, but that looks like a perfect distribution for the most part, right?
It's a little bit over here, a little bit over here, most right here. So, and this was multiple brands, hundreds of different brands in this study. So
I'm hearing a lot of background noise. I don't know what it is.
What is it? Somebody?
I don't know. I'm just
who's in a hall?
I hear like a scream.
It does feel like a stream.
Yeah, right. upstream battle.
Are we muting?
Oh, there we go. That was good.
Was that us?
I muted Moni. I think it's Moni.
Okay, mute yourself. I'll mute me.
It was
I'll do the rest through.
If you want to talk, press the button.
Yeah, if you want to talk, press the button. So this was a shock go forward. To hear Ehrenberg Bass say that marketing activity does not affect, this stuff. And you're like, well, what does that mean? And so Dale hit us up with 4 ways that brands actually do grow. And it's when the category's growing. So, there's a rising lake, so that's cool. Everybody was into pogs. You start a pog business, you're the pog lord, so there you go. External capital injections is when rich people throw money out of a windowless van at your brand, which we all love. Sometimes they're wearing suits, sometimes they're not. But it's when you get random injections of cash. And so he mentioned Warby Parker and Liquid Death as examples of this. They got injections of cash, and that's why. But they also were really creative. And so, there's a bit of back and forth here. Like, they got money, but they did something creative with the money. The other way that brands actually grow is the leader stumbles. Somebody just messes up, and then you take their lunch. So you've seen that happen. Dale hit us off with an example of Siebel, which was this CRM kind of monster. And then Salesforce came in, Siebel went down, Salesforce up. That's what happened.
I heard another one of those today. It was just an Instagram post, but the whole GoPro. GoPro was a real leader of that space until Apple was able to basically give everyone what the GoPro was giving in the iPhone. And then while GoPro was really excited with that, they had that one innovation that was a great innovation, but everything they did since that initial innovation was not strategic. Right. And as a result, GoPro is worth very little right now.
Yeah. Well, so, and without, and so these other things, like if Apple had fallen, then maybe GoPro would have won, or Apple didn't figure out
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Hey-go. And then the 4th way is radical product innovation. I mean, in that you point to Apple as an example of one of these brands that like goes straight through the roof when they're doing something. The iPod took, this existing market for portable music and turned it on its head. So, but it's extremely rare.
Well, that's like also like so the GoPro was probably radical product innovation until it wasn't. Right. And then the other example of radical product innovation that we're seeing is this idea that ChatGPT, fundamentally transformed how we chat with these bots. And, and there's lots of things associated with that, but go back to 2022. It wasn't like the way we interact with these chat bots.
I mean, there's, but that would be, there'd be questions of how this is, if they're actually even growing a market, if things are actually happening, if they actually even have a product. I mean, they have something, but it's basically connected to the internet and it works off the internet. So it's an internet wrap. But I enjoy it. I mean, we have to keep going because let's keep going. Marketing's real role. This was the juicy part. We were like, well, this sounds horrible. If you're telling me that brands don't actually grow, then what do we do? And I went through, before we hit record, I went through the LinkedIn post with Dale, and I saw a lot of people saying, listen, there is a chance that creativity can make a difference. There is a chance that small players can cut through. There's a chance that all of these things, even what you have here, Dale, is some kind of a hallucination in some kind of mathematical model that could be disrupted by reality. And so that's why I'm choosing this thing. And Dale was all good with that. He's like, as long as you recognize the barriers and what your role is and what your capacity is, then please have at it. And the real role here is these numbers tell us the floor that we're running on. What you do and how you get creative with your money and your brain, that's the beauty of the thing. But the reality is we have to play defense. Your job is to prevent share loss. That's the main thing. And you run fast to stay in place. And if you want to get somewhere, you got to go twice as fast. So that's like, you need extra money. You need someone to stumble. You need those other things on the other slide to happen. So ride category growth, you got to be smart and aware of these things. Most people are late to the memes. Marketers, the minute we touch a meme, it's dead. But you got to ride category growth. So you got to be very aware of these things. Where the market might be going. But a lot of people there's a lot of dead bodies on that Himalaya. Number 3, exploit competitor mistakes. Wow. Just kind of be aware of certain things that people aren't doing and, make that a unique selling proposition. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of exciting. Leverage capital if available. Oh my God. If I'm not looking through the couch cushions for marketing, oh man, that's good. Use massive cash injections. Oh, of course, we'd love to do that. But it's not about growth. It's about maintaining what you have. And I thought that was a good one, to get people's expectations right-sized, to get your clients thinking that you're not going to change the world. We're actually just going to hold tight. And that's going to be great. That's actually a real good scenario. So takeaways for me, I put these here. Mental availability only matters if you can afford to buy it. I mean, reach is more important than creativity. If you have a choice to distribute your ad further, you should do that. Marketing spend is just paying rent on mental real estate. Man, stop paying, you get evicted. Really though, I like this. You want to be in their mind, and it costs to be there. There's a hole in that bucket. It costs to pour the water in there. Success stories often credited to brilliant marketing are really stories about capital or competitor collapse. We could talk about this because I think Liquid Death was an example where you're like, they're so genius. Everybody, they're changing the world. The category of water, canned water. Oh my God. And then you're like, well, if I got $500,000, I could probably do something gangster too. But they did something very interesting. They did not have to lean in as hard as they did. I think Liquid Death we could be excited about. Maybe talk about growth is possible, but rare. Usually when you're growing, something else happened that you didn't have anything to do. So I think there's some humbleness that we need to eat slices of it, maybe a whole pie.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking around innovation, girl, I mean, how many people think they're sitting on the next product, that this product's going to sell themselves? This product is I'm telling you, it isn't. You better think. Spend intelligently to hold your place, not fantasize about leapfrogging giants. Marketing is essential, but its power lies in preservation, not revolution. I love it. I mean, it's the price you pay to keep what you've got. And I mean, is that not? I mean, that's just like, that's hot. And it's hard, and I don't think people like to. So let's open up. Stay here, Jay. Don't move forward. Let's go to big pictures. That's
that was
redux.
Great roundup. So
Thank you.
let's just we market because other people market, right? We market because that's what you do. If we decided that marketing was illegal, if there was a policy that you don't market, and you just go off the value of product and the actual
Mm.
features and functions. Like that's it. You know, let's say an election you couldn't advertise an election.
Mm.
We'd save a lot of money, but people are building up these budgets because the other person's doing it more, right? So it is a defensive thing, and it's also a luxury. I think marketing is for those who have already won in a way,
Mm.
right? Because in order to have a brand identity, you have to be above ground enough, above water, to think about that. Like it's not just your supply chain. It's not just where are you getting the best talent or whatever to make the most valuable product. You've gotten there, and now you can frame it.
Mm.
And so framing it is a luxury as well. I think that, it's like, did Duolingo like grow market share based on their great marketing, or did they just drive like awareness to a valuable product in a growing category generally, due to everyone's at home during COVID trying to better themselves, etc.? Did it just bring more eyeballs? So I think it speaks to his point of like, it is just awareness, the leaky bucket, and you have to market because other people do. And that's what I took from your little thing and Dale's.
I like that so much. Moni, what do you think?
I think there's an opportunity to take a slight step backwards, and I feel like why people get in their feels when this is said, because people get in their feels when I say certain things, because people don't know what words mean, and then they just going off of their emotions about what they think it means. So like, I think there's an opportunity to like define what marketing role is here and where we're supposed to be, because like one of our things that we've been fighting is like, this is one of my big things, is like marketing is not responsible for revenue. Like that's not a thing that marketing should be doing. So like when you say markets don't grow and stuff like that, it's like we're breaking the brain of like the beat down mantra of that marketing is supposed to drive revenue, therefore it's supposed to drive growth. So when you say this, it's like, well, then you're breaking that sort of idea in half. And then like, okay, so like, but then what's marketing supposed to be doing? And then what's a market? And then what's a market category? So that's the question that I've always been circling around here of like, what's the difference between like soft drinks and then cola and then diet and then, you know what I mean? Like what's the market versus what's the category? I think that's a question, because so we're saying categories grow, but the market doesn't grow. Like, what are we saying here?
I mean, and what you just said made me think of Clayton Christensen, Jobs to be Done framework.
Yes.
That Pepsi's fighting with the soda, fighting with the juice. You're fighting for the morning beverage, or you're fighting for the travel beverage.
Right.
So you're like, oh, so these are moments, and so, then there's all these different ways for us to kind of abstractly approach this thing,
Right.
which if it serves us. I mean, I'm working on a piece about learning styles and how they're made up, but people that I have a learning style because they've been given a category to fit themselves into, feel like they have a grasp on something, but they actually, in their categorization, forget the other categories that they're actually in. So our ability to think of this thing in all these different ways blinds us to all the ways that we're supposed to be thinking about it. And your thought of, is it Coke, soda, is it diet, is it then you sparkle, and so you're like, I think you could get lost in this, and they would love to have that. To Jessica's point, someone else is going to overthink this if we don't overthink this. And if I had to overthink it, why don't we do that? Why don't we start up then market research, and then you have people in white lab coats asking people, is that sparkle, or is that diet, or is that cola, or how do you feel about that? And then people are thinking of themselves as scientists, and then when they go into the store to buy something, they're not thinking like scientists. They want to get the hell out of Target without buying too much. They're going to buy some kind of orange thing. I don't know what it was. Let's just get it. Let's go. Or I'm going to get the thing that's on sale. Just stop talking to me. Boom. That's the mind of the consumer. But we just put them into soda categories, category entrance points, behavioral moments, jobs to be done. And we've just missed the boat. You know, it's just like, I don't know if that lands a plane or it's sent.
I agree and I disagree, right? Because the price psychology is a thing for people who don't care about the soda. So it's like, because they're a Coke addict, like they're like Coke loyalists. Like I
That
worked
is
at
true.
McDonald's in my first job, and it's like same people came and got the freaking 32-ounce Diet Coke. Like you can
Morning
go get
beverage.
a freaking liter at that time for 99 cents. It's been $1.50 to go get a 32-ounce of fucking Diet Coke. Like
Crazy.
that was their jam.
Yeah,
So it's
no.
like there is some thing here where it actually does matter the market in the market category, because like for the loyalists you don't have a shot, right? Like to Dale's point, makes complete sense. But if like I come up with like some freaking fizzy juice shit or something, you know, Funny Pop or whatever, like am I competing with Coke, or is that something completely different because it's a juice fizz? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, do I have a shot in this market, or am I completely fucked because I'm like, it's all Coke all day?
How do we explain Poppy? You know, which came out of nowhere and then ended up getting bought by Pepsi.
But it was a new. So sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all I have to say. Tell me.
Jump in there.
It's
Poppy.
a probiotic or whatever. It's a different thing. It had fiber. It was a new thing. It wasn't a new soda with just a new personality. It had it's a new thing. It was a new product. The innovation wasn't the brand.
But then after that, now we have like 100 of that new product, and I go to
It
these.
was got bought by Pepsi, so that's not even fair, right? Like it got bought by the conglomerate, so now it's in the main category.
Now it's in there, but
Well, and then and just to our earlier point, just imagine like that with that Poppy, bless them, you know, they did some kind of market growthing, revenue growthing, profit growing thing, brandy thing, but it got zeroed out and sucked up into the mothership. So you're just like, I don't know, like even if you wanted to cut through, you might get sucked up into the averages anyway, because you're going to become so successful that somebody's going to buy you and you just get subsumed. And then what's stopping these brands from creating infinite, you know, wraps? Like this is something I'm interested in talking about, because T-Mobile, just like you said, Jay, the other day, I was thinking about this, T-Mobile and then Noble, based on the T-Mobile network, and then
and Mint is the
and
same.
Smartless has their own network, their wireless network. That's on a T-Mobile network. And then, you know, like Mr. Beast is opening up a financial bank. He just applied for some trademark to open Mr. Beast Financial.
Yeah, but all of these things are
Wraps. They're wraps.
They're wraps. I mean, at the end of the day, like I deal with. My bank is QuickBooks. It's not QuickBooks. QuickBooks isn't a bank, but then QuickBooks offers a debit card, and it's from Green Dot Bank.
Interesting.
And then you know, I call up and I'm like calling customer service at QuickBooks, and they can't really help me with my Green Dot card, right? So when you offer things like that, you should have a responsibility for a holistic customer experience. You know, there are so many things like that where it's like, yeah, we're going to white label this and we'll call it Noble Mobile, but really the truth is that the towers are all managed by T-Mobile, and Noble Mobile really doesn't have much clout when someone calls them and says our service isn't that good. Right? So that happens all the time. The Mr. Beast Bank is probably operated by some
like Landing Tree or some shit.
Whatever it is, and that's really.
But it gets me to this thought that markets are maybe not growing, but they're just sort of folding in like to themselves. And like as we're seeing the averages kind of like go there would be little chance of some brand to pop through, you know, into a supermarket, smaller stores, baby. I mean, there are things that we're not measuring here.
We're also
at the biggest level. I'm just wondering.
But that's the point of business, right? Like we're like overlaying like business with like marketing is a subcategory under like an overall
Correct.
business category. So it's like that's just the point of business. Like if you're a if you're at the top, you're going to eat the little fish. That's what you do. Like
Right.
that's part of the business.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about sandwiches here for a second.
Okay.
So, you know, we had the Subway era, we had the Quiznos era, and then we have this Jersey Mike's era, and then we have the venture capital, private equity saying we're not going to change Jersey Mike's. And then there's this woman I follow named Amanda Stinton that's like, it used to be 4 slices for the big Jersey Mike's. Now it's down to 3. And now I'm noticing less meat. And so she told this whole story of how the private equity is basically going to take all that's good from Jersey Mike's, extract it and profit from it. And then they're going to let the other part die. And like, this is the private equity playbook. I may not be explaining it right, but
That's right.
but is it me or did Jersey Mike's, which is a place that I love to go, I used to love to go to with my son, because it's markedly better and different. It was as close to what Blimpie was offering. Subway didn't offer it. Quiznos went away, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is a real good sub." And then now all of a sudden it's going to go to shit.
But yes, the fact is, but I think what you said aligns with something I saw. The returns, the stock numbers for Omnicom, Publicis, like all these big advertising agencies are in the gutter. Horribly. And I think what happened is that private venture got hold of marketing and advertising and turned it into this digital shit show that said that you'd be able to grow brands, that you'd be able to, do all these promising, things. And so like what happened to Jersey Mike's happened to the marketing and advertising industry writ large. And we didn't know, and we're behind, we're the sandwich artists. And I'm like, well, the meat has turned into what, and then, it's like things have been substituted in a weird way because the advertising information that we're getting, the marketing advertising information is not based on this science that Dale showed us. It's not based on these realistic expectations of what marketing and advertising are capable of doing. It's sold on this false promise about the VC venture capitalism. Like I can advertising agencies screaming.
Well, I mean that one of the big realizations that I've had, Jake, you proofread the article that is going into the MarTech, and I basically came to the conclusion that I want to be seen as a market maker, not a marketer. Like the person that came to the conclusion that Jersey Mike's was necessary, he's the biggest winner of them all.
Right.
Payout, and now it's going to go to shit, and he'll probably create a new market and all that. With the Clean Data Alliance, we're identifying a new market. With the Marketing Accountability Council, we've identified a market of talking about things that the other establishment marketing institutions are afraid to talk about, and it's catching on. But the bigger thing for me is not about what tactics will I use to inform people about the Mac. It's more of identifying that there's a need for a Mac, and then if there is a true need, then the market will gravitate to us, and if there's not, then they won't.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's also like we're in an era too of like, I work with a lot of small businesses, and some of their goals is to get bought. A lot of their goals the majority of their goals are to get bought.
Correct.
Like they're not trying to be the big fish. And I think one of the things to iterate about Dale's point that makes a lot of sense is like, look, man, the 1% of the 1% for a reason in all of life. Like there aren't going to be a bunch of LeBron Jameses. They're not, right? Like you're going to have the elite everywhere. And that's the same thing for just business. You're going to have the elite at the market level category. There's going to be 1, 2, 3 maximum. That's
and those
just
are the courageous ones that are unafraid to do things that everyone else is doing. So anyone that's following any prescriptive playbook of like, this is your lead funnel, these are the 10 steps to get growth, follow my playbook and you're going to win. You're not going to win because everyone else is following the same damn playbook.
1000%. 1000%. So it's like that. I think the thing that I love about it is this is more cracking of the marketing's there to drive growth. Like I agree. Now, where I may disagree with the punchline is it's only there for protection. I would challenge that. Yes, but like yes and. So it's like
Right.
there is part of the marketing's job is to establish the brand, like what it is. What is it? What are we saying here? What does it look like? What are we connecting to? Like that is a lot of part of marketing's job that people can't do for shit these days.
And don't
Uh,
do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just saw a promoted LinkedIn post, and it wasn't selling anything directly, but it was saying we have to stop. It was just basically like people are launching products that aren't even asked for. People are doing zero research
Mhm.
on needs, on any of the jobs to be done, that shit that we talked about in the beginning. None of it. None of it. They are thinking similar to what Jay was saying. The market will come around me. I know
Exactly.
it will, and no, it won't. Actually, it won't. Because no one's asked for this. I think the reason why Market Accountability Council is taken off is because there is a unspoken need for that stuff. Products we're talking about, no one does goddamn nothing research at all, and that's 80% of the things out here. So everyone's like, why doesn't marketing work?
Well, I mean, and then that brings up this whole Sora thing that no one asked for, that we all talked about on Monday. And Jake, you wrote a nice post about it. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I actually have been getting lots of things in my Sora feed and in other feeds that are downright offensive. Like they have people winning on The Price is Right that are all like, disabled. And then they show the prize being something they can't use. And it's like, no one asked for that. Some people are going to chuckle about it. A bunch of people are going to put up these slop sites with them, and it's going to take over the internet for a few weeks. And then we're going to get back to something else. But, people just jump on this stuff, and then the infrastructure of the internet allows you to create 100 different things on Sora. Then you could post them on TikTok, and you could, if you do it well, you could win
But
a little
Jess,
bit short term.
But Jess, say more about what you were mentioning, because it seems like these algorithms, you can't help but do what other people are doing. Like when you were saying we're marketing because everybody's marketing. My budget's as high as it is because their budget's so high. And we have to do this. And so it seems almost like Sora has this thing like, how could you not double down on that meme? How could you not double down on that? How could you not participate when everybody's participating? I mean, I want to hear.
Right now we are in that like slop cycle. I agree definitely with Moni about saying marketing has an inherent role of communicating value to targets. That makes sense to me. I think that where we're at right now is kind of, like we're building up high, and like it's this house of cards things, like what's under it kind of. And maybe there will be some renaissance of very like pared down, no content is the content kind of thing. Maybe I think that would be like the cooler thing to do. Because I do think that if I see one more blank redefined, it's just that's been done 20 years ago. I mean, when I was in school, I was like, you can't say that. What other words can you use? And we are running out of words, and no one knows the original words. Moni, like people don't understand.
I was just thinking, Moni, like these words. There's a toxic irreverence with the words. You're just using them. You're not even thinking about them.
Yeah, and that they lose. That's why etymology is so interesting, is because words do lose their meaning, and they are reincarnated as different things. And I think that reclaiming. I mean, don't get me started on all the things I like to nerd out on in terms of language and culture, because like you could just mute yourselves right now.
It's
but
huge.
I won't do that. I do think that it is a hard sell as a marketer to say, we have inherent value, we are necessary, and we won't make you money. And we aren't sales too.
Well,
You know, we are ammo. We aren't the gun. We are and we aren't the gunpowder. Oh fuck. Yeah, like
no,
we're the
I mean,
Are you
right?
stay on the
Like,
battlefield. Stay on the battlefield. You know, at best you might be a drummer boy. At best you might be a football. At
I think
best
we
you
are.
might be
we're an identity crisis. That's
Well,
what
but
No,
we
you
are.
know,
it's not
I
the drummer
think
boy. The drummer boy is the guy who
Advertising.
we wrote his music.
or you're like you're the seamstress making the freaking outfits for the like y'all do your
Yeah,
battle.
yeah, sure. But
You train-
basically it's like, yeah, it's more like woven into the identity of the message,
That's why the flag, you know, a
where the
little-
message is going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're not actually the billboard. We're not actually, you know, we're what's on the billboard, right? So we are.
And again, I'll take it back to the salespeople all being failed quarterbacks. 1, 2. If you're in sales, you're a failed quarterback. Sorry.
Sass. Oh
but-
my gosh.
no,
yeah.
oh,
But
I'm
we
just
help
kidding, I'm
them
just
make the
kidding.
deck,
Marty-
right? Like we set the tone, right? We're like creating a framework
Right.
to communicate, and like we're communication geniuses.
Exactly.
And that's all that
Exactly. It's
really
like, I mean,
matters.
that the old like marriage right trope that we like to throw out with marketing and sales, it's like it's kind of true. And if like once you understand like the roles got so reversed and bastardized, that's why it's all jacked up. It's like the feminine in general is good at communication. It's just like in general. I'm not saying women, I'm saying like the feminine energy is good at communications. Male energy is good at action. Like it just it's the doer, right? It's like when you marry those two things, you have a very good, perfect combination. And it's like we wanted. Now it's like marketing's supposed to be the doer. We're supposed to execute against all these things. Like, no, man, just let us talk. Let's communicate, man. Let's create a vibe here. Let's build a relationship. Like, don't you like we like each other. It's cool, man. Right? Like, and then you're ready for the action. Like now you're prepped for the action, you know? It's like we lost all that's lost, right? It's like,
Right. And then but from the beginning it got messed because they were saying it's selling on the page. You are selling on the page. And you were like, it's sale, and you're like, maybe, you know, maybe there's a fundamental disconnect with what Dale's saying. With you're just here to memory refresh, and at the time maybe they're going to remember you, but you know that's your job. And if you can position, great. If you don't add to the conversation, go up as a communicator, you're leaving it on the floor. That's where I think I would disagree with what Jess is saying, because I would love to have a place where no content was the new content, but no one would know about you if you never talked about yourself and no one ever talked about you.
It's the only way through content, Jake. I think that's what the limiting thing is. Like we put a bucket on like how this communication channel should function. And I think to Jess's point, it's like if you and to Jake's point, like if you only think of lead funnel, then you're limiting yourself in this box where it's like there's all types of ways to communicate. So many, right? Like we have visual mediums, we have verbal mediums, we have all these sorts of nonverbal communication things. Like there's all types of stuff. But we got to get out of this freaking linear box we're stuck ourselves in.
And I'll say the content marketing is confused with advertising very often. Very often. Content is something different. Advertising is paying and putting out a message and doing the advertising thing. Content is not everyone wants it to be advertising. They want it to return the same as advertising, and that's where you got lost.
Yeah, there's like you can intrigue people, you can get them to stay longer, you can get them to click again, but its product is it's not brand. And I think alignments, you know, another bucket of, or not bucket, but part of this, like, you know, if you're the mafia boss, you can be like a little man, tiny little old man, and you can whisper into the like muscly guy's ear and he can say the thing. So you can have a brand that whispers into some like beautiful model that everybody wants to be like her ear, and then she is speaking your name. Suddenly you are, you know, getting her words, but you've said it. You're the little marketer that said the thing. You've said it through somebody else. So I think that, yeah, like there are things that you can, as marketers, geniusly do, and it doesn't mean that you're a salesperson.
Well, and what you said, something was kind of connecting with me is that my job is to not talk to you. It's to get things to talk about amongst yourselves or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's what Moni's saying. It's like the attraction thing. It's the feminine, right? You want to like be so authentically, naturally, truly you. You need to figure out how to take the actual meat that you're selling, the hot dog or whatever, down to its essence of what it actually means, represents, etc. And once you have that down and you communicate it, you have that like emanating from you.
That's right.
And you're attracting the right like people that want to buy the hot dog.
Exactly. Exactly. And then it's sales job to then convince you on the price or whatever the condiments or whatever the fuck else that you actually want to buy.
And they can totally derail you, even if you have done your job, Moni. And
the whiff brought them in. I know it. Like, we've seen it.
And everything is right, and the salesperson will tell you how much it cost and how big the hot dog you're getting is, and you will lose. You as a marketer will lose in Hebrew National's mind, the client, because they didn't buy the hot dog, and it has nothing
to do with me.
And
exactly,
you should be getting an award.
How do we?
You're being told that your budget's being cut because what you did didn't work, but that's not
about to freak out. I know.
Hot diggity dog, but how does
we got to one more point to just add on to what Justin and I are saying? You have to have the connective tissue of the business, right?
Absolutely.
Like understanding marketing's function and understanding sales function. That's when you can connect the two together. So if you leave marketing out of the revenue conversation and just let it be the attraction and communication, and then sales do sales, and operations do operations, and finance do finance, and HR do HR, everybody's job leads to revenue if they do it well. So let's stop the departmental shit.
How do we account for human nature and people being selfish and self-centered? So if a salesperson is going to get a sale because they did something that is not in the marketing playbook and they get that commission, but ultimately that sale is a lower revenue target for the company and it hurts the brand, they still are getting paid. And
that's sales. That's sales functions, Jay. That's how sales operates, right? So in the context of sales, that's how they're always a commission based. Blah blah blah. So marketing's not. Don't get us out of there. Get us out of there. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. So let the function be the function.
Let the function be the function.
Well, I just think that there's, there was somebody. Well, why don't the marketers get commission on sales?
Because we're not responsible for revenue. We're not responsible.
But no, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm being. Yeah. I'm being my former boss.
Please. You're being not my former boss.
No. I'm saying. I heard this, but they were saying, why don't we do a revenue share?
Well, that's the whole measurement quantification thing that we talk about all the time. How would you attribute that? What part is marketing?
Hey, man, and then how would you honestly say that salesperson said? I mean, all bound, inbound, outbound, all that. Like you ticked a box, and it's actually not the case, but you called them because I brought the sizzle. And I think back to your hot dog conversation, because I'm thinking that it's a lot of people thinking I'm selling kielbasa's, and you're like, no, you're selling these little cocktails, and then you're like, well, I sold them a kielbasa, and you're like, well, all we have are these little wieners. That's the sales dichotomy where they're promising false wieners,
because
strategy.
And you're so right, because sales is marketing and marketing is sales. Like if marketing was allowed to be marketing, we would be able to communicate to sales bitch, this is a fucking Hebrew national wiener. Like that's
Done.
all you're selling. Like
And they're
I
like,
got
all right,
you on when
don't
people
say-
come to the booth, they know exactly what the fuck this is. Your job is to sell them on condiments and price and this. That's it. Like you don't
Well-
gotta do the work of like convincing them it's a wiener, it's a dog, isn't it? No. We got that. We got
And you know what I'd
That's
say?
okay.
I brought a lead to you, Moni. Person wants a hot dog, but they want it a little different. They want it a little special. So that's all good. You know, so bottom it needs to be like 2 feet long, you know, and you're like, oh, it's closed deal. Yeah, we closed the deal. It's already sold. But so we need to make a longer bun. And so you're like, oh, okay, cool. But then that's a bespoke product that your product now twists a little bit for
But okay,
deals. And then
Four
it twists a
P's
little bit
marketing is the
then it
marketing
twists a bit more. But that's what I'm saying.
out of its position.
I brought you here, but on the back end, what you were saying that the product has to stay consistent. They're like, ooh, we sold it as a 2-foot hot dog. And they're like, we can do that. And so it starts like, we don't only do hot dogs, we have 2-foot hot dogs. And you're like, all right, I also have this like special. So like the tech debt, what Jessica was saying, like the tech debt, the ghosts of the shoulders that we're standing on. We're like, oh, we have a new product. It came from. We don't even know, but it got sold and committed to
Guess what? If
dark. And I think marketers are like, I'm out here selling this thing, and in the back, we're Frankensteining all these weird parts onto it because sales said that we could.
if the marketer did their job effectively, the insights that they would receive would be what people naturally believe and understand about the brand. When marketing forces BS campaign, like there was Burlington came up with brands deals wow, or New Jersey said we're the wow state. It's like, what insight led to that? But if there was a real insight that came out of real customer behavior, that is what the marketing department believes, what the operations people believe, what the product people believe, what the sales people believe, then no one has to make anything up. They just say what it is, right?
And you don't have to educate the audience.
You don't have to educate the audience. You don't have to say,
having to educate the
called our
audience.
brand the wrong name.
You shouldn't have to educate these folks.
Can we just tie a bow on this and say, like, how can we advocate? Like, what can we say to help our in the trenches fellow marketers from the left and to the right, like that are being told that they're not succeeding because the sales, the growth, what are we gonna equip? What is the ammo we're giving our brethren here?
Go ahead, Moni. Because I was going to say something, but I didn't have it fully cooked.
Bro,
But
my response to this question is always crawl, walk, run. You have to go back to the individual tactic, isolate it and evaluate it, and then grow from there. And then once you start doing that, then you can start having the larger conversations of you start to expose the flaws in this logic very easily. But there's no like silver bullet. Listen, for the last 10 years in corporate, I've tried to have this conversation. They don't want to fucking hear it. They don't want to hear this shit. You got to back up and isolate every tactic. You got to go back. Just look at the webinars. Look at the last 5 webinars you've done. Tell me what you see from an analytical standpoint. What's working, what's not, what are the results? Okay. You can start to make decisions. Stop looking at attribution and all the whole thing and revenue. It's a jumbled fucking mess. Go back to the tactic, isolate the tactic, look at it, make decisions, go from there.
I really like that. Jess, I think the point that you made about what the point is that like, how are we supposed to like talk about the impact we're having when the impact is this in the best case of scenarios that we have 0 market share? I think that is the ground reality that you have to like realize, like, boy, that is something that you really have to sit with and say, my job is not. I had to think about it too, because I was like, my job is to be as creative and funny and juggling and doing all of my creative fun things. And if somebody gave me a bunch of money, I would be able to make them a bunch of money. And because I'd be, and you're like, I don't know. The best hope for you, Jake Sanders, God bless you. We love that you can juggle and you want to bring an Italian puppet right now out, but don't. What you need to do is focus on, I think Moni said it right, that fundamental stuff. What is your market size? Like, where is the arena that you're trying to play basketball in? And what is a realistic, approximation of your talents and the budget constraints that you have? Because if you don't have money to reach anybody, it doesn't matter how funny you could be. Patch Adams, you could be Robin Williams, you could be LeBron himself. But if no one knows,
It's Jake. What you just said is very simple math that would kick a lot of companies in the teeth. Like
Right.
they pull revenue goals out of the sky. And if you like actually analyzed your market, looked at the size, the revenue size of your market versus your growth projections, it would be like a bajillion percent. Like it would make absolutely no sense.
None. And to that point, somebody's like, we're going to create new markets, we're going to create new demand. If right now people are using GoFundMe for groceries in this country,
Yeah.
I wonder what new explosive hot market you're about to create, because people can't afford groceries. So enjoy it. Yeah, people are going to want that new ding dong, that new fun widget, in what reality, homie? But I love, if I had a dream, it would be start an ad agency called I Told You So. And at the end of, I'll take all your client ideas and I'm going to tell you how this is going to go wrong. And you're going to pay me. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you, I told you so. Because I don't know how many marketing things that I've said, hey, I don't know a good example. They were like, Jake, shut the fuck up, get in the back and make sure your harness is on. And I was like, okay. And then things go south and I'm like, I told you so, but I never got a chance to say that. Boy, I would love to have an ad agency that's just their specialty, telling people, I told you this shit wasn't going to work. I told you so, so that would be my dream. So if you want to start that, let's do it. I guess signing off for half of North America here at the Marketing Reality Check.
Thank you all for joining us live. I saw a few of you going in and out. We will be providing a wrap report.
People were here? Oh, that's
yes,
amazing.
there were several people in and out for several minutes, which
Really?
was lovely.
What?
Yes, there were.
Were they my mom?
Consistency. Just
Consistency. We just
Oh,
have
hey, okay.
doing, by the way, we also officially hit the 500 subscriber mark on Substack. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Congratulations.
so that's good. And we keep on getting subscribers, even though we're not publishing as frequently, which is a nice little lesson. So people are looking for what we have, and there are going to be many great opportunities coming this fall. So we're in the fall season. The heat is on officially in New York City. Buildings started turning on the heat, and you hear that click, click, click.
Oh, I know that.
The heat is on.
This chat was cool because I feel like there's a bounce. There's like, I love bundling and unbundling, right? And here we just talked about the kind of macro kind of like marketing thing and what's working and what we are or whatever. But now we can bounce back and say, who the fuck is calling me?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah,
You're
we could say,
popular.
who the fuck is calling?
Who's popular, Jess?
Now we can bounce back and be like, okay, so yes, our role is this. What you just said, Jake, is we can't afford groceries. But when I'm going through these things like, can I afford to pay the bill or whatever, then suddenly I'm like, but I really want this bag. Because why? Like, where's the dissonance? Like, how did I get here? Right. And so we can talk about now the responsible role of like, should somebody be like trying to get me to buy a fancy bag with like nothing about that aligns with like who I am as a human. Like, I wouldn't want to kill a cow with leather. I don't want to be spending the money on that. What's it going to achieve? Is it like the sex sells? Like, if I get this, then I'll be cuter and I will finally like meet somebody that I think is cute back because
that's what they're marketing
my value, because I'm aligning with a brand because whatever. And so what are we doing here? And then we can also talk about like, there's like TikTok, I love you, has been showing me like neuromarketing, like research. And so it's like the things that like actually are triggering my like womb, like my internal clock. Like, the bag is the thing that's going to get your legacy going. And who did that, and what's the like, and so there's a macro thing we can talk about. We can talk about micro. We could do a one brand spotlight. Like there's so many fun things that we can do.
Yeah, I agree.
Love that.
Yeah, Poppy was like, we could have gone off on just Poppy or go off on GoPro.
Yeah, well, I think though, to your point, Jess, we're in this society where as marketing practitioners, we know too much to allow marketing to work on us, I think. But I do know, well, marketing
sounds like a mark.
works on me, I guess. But what my daughter tells me, like, Dad, I want a Coach bag. And then I think, oh, you want that? Like, why does she want a Coach bag now? That was popular when I was in high school. I know the company that owns.
Where does it come
bag.
from?
Yeah, where did that come from, and how did that work? And like, who are the people that are sort of influencing her and making that market popular again?
It's a huge PR push. They did so many.
They did a lot of work because Coach did fall off and made a comeback.
Yeah.
So
they
Coach
completely redid. Yes, Jake, talk.
I'm sorry. What? No. What is it? Coach redid that.
It wasn't marketing. That's what it is. It wasn't marketing. It was structural internal things that they changed. They changed distribution. They made their stores different. But yes, marketing has a role to play. They created the brand trips. They found the right people to speak to who they want to speak to, and they got them to all show up and take a free bag. And some of these influencers are like, I don't even want to wear this bag for free. It's trash. Now they're like, they can't even afford them now. Exactly. It's like it's changed because it's like a timing thing of all of those internal and external factors, like singing in harmony.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into is the reason why Coach is thriving now. Like if you go back to all the stuff that Dale said, like how do we explain the fact that Coach? I know it's owned by Tapestry. I know someone that works there. They own lots of different brands, but why is that a market that was dormant for 20 years? Why is it now all of a sudden popular again? That's marketing?
Yeah. Well, is it because there was 100x product innovation? Is it because a competitor shit the bed? Is it because they got random amounts of cash? Or is it because the category is growing?
Or maybe they're just doing business better. But I guess, is there room for that?
I don't know. I mean, like,
I have to jump. I love the conversation. Talk to you guys on Monday.
Moni.
Okay, bye. Thanks, Moni.
I saw something that said Kentucky Fried Chicken social media is the thing that turned them around, and I was like, I would wonder, like somebody
say that again.
So KFC, their social media is what turned their like revenue numbers all the way up, and I was like,
no, goddamn no.
But again, somebody's seeing this on LinkedIn. It's coming from a professional network. They're like, maybe that's how marketing works, and you're like.
Because they're trying to market their own little goofy LinkedIn profile by making dumb content to keep our eyes on it. So you'll talk about it right now. I
hate that I fell for it. Fuck.
The thing that makes Kentucky Fried Chicken good is their biscuits, and that's it.
I think it's qualitative
factor.
It's the
I mean it's really interesting to see. But I'll tell you, there's a Wendy's in Yonkers that does a tremendous business. Like I've gone to that Wendy's, and there's like so many people going there, and you got to wonder why. And maybe it's because that Wendy's is operated well, and they when you come in, you get your food fast, and it's a well-oiled machine. It might not be that the Wendy's tastes any better than the the Popeyes next door.
But there could be go ahead.
I feel like you can never measure a coastline. Did you know that? Never, because it's never.
It's always changing, right?
And I feel like with a lot of these things, it's like you can never really get an accurate measurement of this, because there are, like what you said, like one franchisee can have an impact that can be offset by a scandal with corporate. It's like you'll never know what these things could have actually done had a tsunami hit and changed the coastline in this moment or whatever. I'm getting a little heady with it, but I think that we're talking about things that are really hard to nail down. And I just want to close with, at the end of the day, nothing is nailed down. Like these hard data studies, they're all bullshit. You and we went through that. We like found a chart and it was made by nobody and a ghost in a you know
he was referring to his own research
somewhere. I mean,
he
it
was
was
claiming he was
nothing
Harvard
is
Business
true.
Review. He wasn't. Harvard Business Review doesn't mean what everyone else thinks it means. Like there's 100 reasons why it wasn't credible.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you don't have firm ground to stand on. I think the biggest disservice we're doing is that it's so complicated. Anything's on the table. Just try anything. And you're like, no, I think it's so complicated. You have to respect the ecosystem that you're behaving in. And if you don't know the fundamental laws, you're going to get swept away with whatever kind of tide. And you're not going to be smart enough to even know when you're gone. So your job is to just figure out these fundamentals. And that is talk to your people. Like you said, Jay, like talk to the people. If they believe what this person believes, what this person believes, the epistemology is strong and you can go to market and get somewhere and ring some bells. But if you don't have that belief structure operating across the whole thing, you're out to sea. So yes, you can never measure a coastline, but that doesn't mean you can't try. And then just know that that measurement changes and then be cool with that measurement. You know,
exactly. So someone has to end with a hot dog line to close this all out.
No. See, the coolest thing would be to never talk about that again.
But I had something and I wrote it down.
No, you didn't. You wrote it down.
What you said is you don't have to sell the sizzle. You have to actually become the sizzle.
That's it.
Who said that?
I just said that right now. Don't you think that's a good piece of advice? Be the sizzle. No?
Maybe that, no. Yes, that is very markety. That is very marketing.
It's a very marketing saying. So we'll
I'm going to hit the end stream button on that.
Yeah. Be the sizzle.